So we did a summary about the KanBan at Vanguard. Vanguard is an investment company, and they did a study how to work with KanBan. They looked at methodologies. They did scientific research, but also research based on field experiments. They had 240 different groups where they did tests and looked how the groups are performing, and also what the key factors are for success. And we want to present them to you. I will hand over to Maxwell, who will do the background.
Okay. Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
Yes. So Vanguard actually began. It's actually founded by John Bogle, and they began operations since 1975. Their main core purpose is to take a stand for all investors, to treat them fairly, and to give them best chance to invest in success. And they have always put their clients in the driver's seat, and their shareholders are ultimately owners and receiving profits from at the lowest cost. Actually, expense is merely 1/10 of the 10%, and that's all I have for the background. And I want
Thank you, Maxwell. Then we will hand over to Opayemi.
Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. Hello?
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello,
Everyone. Yeah, I'll be talking about Vanguard Lean operating model, which have recovering from circumstance. First of all, I will talk. Can you see me?
No.
Yeah, sorry about that.
No.
Okay. So, first of all, I'll be talking about recovering from circumstance. Aeronautic stall is defined as a sudden reduction of lift generated by aeronautic fuel while in a critical angle of attack is reached or exceeded. So, stall is also a metaphor for unenabliness and overburdening of flows of knowledge of work. The symptoms are always reduced lift, increase of drags, and seen in scattered plots of high population. That is all I could talk about the recovering Scrum. Then for the other one, which is the Scrum stall effect, we have 3 effects, which the first one is the myopia. This is actually like this is defined as an awareness of upstream or downfall of factors affecting the end-to-end flow. That is what myopia is. Then for the second one, it is called product owner bottleneck. The product owner bottleneck. This is too much power is required of this Scrum roles, and the Scrum framework is a great out of a new product that developed practice, and the need for this kind is a creative power that could lead into different many cases. So talking about the last one, which is autotator, this is a Latin word from a Greek word. It's called. So automators also means like encourager or extra author. So that is all I have for this courses also.
Thank you very much for the explanation. We will hand now over to Theodora. She's going to tell about some teams, especially Team P and Q, which are exceptionally on certain points.
Hello. I'll give an example with the first team, which had poor upstream flow control, as you can see from the picture from the left side. After committing to evaluators to change using the KanBan method, the team improved their control again using system context diagram and Scrum disappeared in the first 90 days after the team switched to the KanBan. And yes.
Do you have two devices you are logged on?
No, I'm logged only from one device.
Okay, so can we all mute, please? To Okoyemi, can you mute, please?
Is it better now? Okay. They accelerate their evolution through the first and fast feedback at fast leading by commuting to KanBan's enterprise service planning, which is on the next slide. Sorry. So the enterprise service planning includes operations review with management and all teams, which includes a new monthly meeting. Including mid-level of management, for example, repurpose the existing meetings and the KanBan stand-up meetings with the team, where the team meets itself with enhanced collaboration among the parallel teams, which leads to proposed and refined existing meeting. The strategy review with the financial system governance board to repurposed existing meeting, delivering planning with production release, continuous integration or continuous delivery pipeline technical management to repurpose the existing meetings, and the risk review with the project management office. For a team P, for the example of the team had the operational review and replenishment meetings were the most significant contributions to improve the speed and volume of the workflow, as you can see on this diagram. This one. This is the flow metrics. To compare, this is the flow metrics for the second team, for which I'm gonna talk in a bit. This one, sorry, I don't know how to zoom, is showing the cumulative flow diagram for 5 months into the KanBan evolution. And those are the factors that they use. So for the second team, they were into their system using KanBan boards, but instead of using the software one as Jira, they used end-to-end technology and to visualize all the tasks and put them also for Team Q. The brilliant one of their system was implemented upstream filter board, which is showing the work tasks, and with the X are the tasks that they complete in less than an hour, and the circled items provide to exceed the threshold, and the success factor has been improved consistently across the different teams in different areas and maturity levels at the Vanguard. Yeah, and now I will hang the presentation to Andre.
Thank you very much, sorry. Thank you very much, Theodora. Gonna take over. Well, based on the experience from the teams which are made from Vanguard, I want to summarize the successful agile work. So how are you supposed to work, or what are the learnings and lessons learned out of the study? So extraordinary attention should be paid to dedicate labor resource assignment. So make sure every person it's work items assigned, and they are fastly assigned. So no work item is a long time in a backlog or something like that. Then upstream work filtering to make sure like you have the track and also filter based on certain criteria. And if you stick to these rules, it will lead to a better control of variability at its sources. So you can make sure that people are taking more different packages, so they are more motivated, and also you increase the success at the end. I want to show you here some very good examples from Group C and Group J out of the group pool. So for Group C, for instance, major key learning which they got out of the group is work in progress items shall be implicit taken through a strong pull policy, which means people don't like it if you give them a task. So they prefer to take a task on their own as soon they are willing to it. So you need to find a way how to make the people like ambitious to take on their own and pull a task for their work item. Then no operations reviews, but a pulsing on the team to reassure workability. So don't go and talk about how you worked and go into the details. You waste time. Just make sure everyone is taking the items as in point one, and then you have, like, for instance, every 6 weeks a pulsing phase where you rejoin the people and make sure they are all on the same level. They have the same vision. They have the same ambitions. So the people are starting to conquer each other, or see like, oh, I worked better, or I didn't perform that well. So you repulse the people. Then on Group J, we saw like fast sprints for only 7 days, and like in average every second day the items got approved. So it really made the people sprint very fast. Then having a superb product vision. This helped to eliminate low value contribution. So as everyone knew the vision, and the vision was very well formed, they had a better aim, and everyone contributed on their own towards this aim. So you didn't lose any inefficient work, if we can say it, or ineffective work. And you also don't need a manager who always makes sure everyone is working on the right thing, because everyone is going towards a main vision. So they had nearly no management time, which they had to spend. They really could focus on working and realizing a vision together. Here we have a chart. Group C, you see they have like their about 6 weeks repulsing time. So here you had to repulse, here you had to repulse, and then the team performs very well. And then after a while, like some people might getting tired, or it's not going very even. Some are working faster. So you have a slight difference, and also the team is performing in general better. So you do a repulsing again, and it will rise again. In the team G, we saw like a very high contribution, and then towards the vision, and then they had like a little fallback, but it's still very good based on compared to the other groups. Then some other important points: avoid switching from Scrum to Kanban. Scrum needs more time to be seen, to see the progress. So one team switched from Scrum to Kanban before they even could see the results. So they lost valuable times in changing methods and everything. Then use physical boards, as Theodora told us. This also triggers like the people are coming every day and joining the meetings, and there you see very fast like problems which the people are facing, and also people are seeing like, oh, the other guy did already one work item more, maybe I should contribute some more work. And so you get another environment. Nowadays, because of COVID, you have to do it online, obviously, but also there, if you meet daily and the people can follow transparently how you work, it should trigger the environment to working habit. Then don't classify swim lanes on project phases. I have here swim lanes for those who are not aware of. You have like columns, where in Kanban you take your work item and put it to a next column, and the swim lanes are the rows. Swim lanes are the rows. So few teams did the rows based on the project phases. For instance, planning, execution, closing, and then they had the matrix form. But this was really problematic because the most teams then stayed in the first row because it was on the top, probably. And so you should base it on other assignments, as you see here. You have queries, stories, on the epics, projects, whatever you want. And for instance, in our project, we have here the phases, the project phases, and then we have on the rows, we have based on the assignees. So it doesn't matter, it's still working, concluding to the phases, but we don't stock like somewhere. And the unassigned is on the top, so you always see them first before you see your own work items. So to summarize, from Vanguard, start finishing and stop starting. Yeah, thank you very much for listening. Now we will have, we are happy to answer you some questions.
So thank you very much. Well done. Okay, so I quite like how all of them were You know, their cameras were on when they were presenting. So that supports every other group member, and whoever is listening to them is able to engage because we are having eye contact, as it were. Excuse me. So does anyone have any questions? Okay, so in the absence of any question, let me ask you, what were your key learning points?
So my personal key learning points were basically like making sure that people are or you build a policy where people have a strong pull ambition, so you don't just give tasks and manage them. So you should have build an environment where people are able to receive tasks as they come into the backlog, and also maybe that it is transparently, so you see everything, how is it working or where are the problems. And the second point is that I even changed our own project management, is the one with the swim lines.
Mm-hmm.
And we spoke yesterday about the labels for the project phases. So I was thinking about that. Then I researched a little bit and I saw, oh no, there are some problems and it doesn't make sense. So I decided now to have columns, and the swim lines are based on the assignees, which makes the most sense in my opinion, or at least on the current knowledge.
Yeah. So I was quite excited when I saw that you've already applied some of the things you've learned from the article. That's really good. So well done. I like the summary. It was quite comprehensive in some parts. Some parts were not comprehensive. I was asking myself what exactly, you know, your group was actually trying to pass across in some aspect. So what you must do is to remember that any presentation you do together, there is the group marks and there's also in the, okay? So Theodora, did you want to say something about what the key aspect, or Maxwell or me?
From my personal point of view, for my part, the key aspects were focused on how to improve the workflow in different groups, and showing the examples, how it was, how they achieve it, what methodology they used, which techniques, and for example, on the first group, that was switching from Scrum to a KanBan method, and for the second, with the physical visualization board, which helped them to achieve like even more results.
Okay.
To improve.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, Maxwell, Okwe, do you want to say anything? Do you want to add anything to that?
Not really.
Okay, so thank you. Let me ask you, when you talked about the use of end-to-end technology versus Jira, Theodora, you mentioned that. What's the difference between the end-to-end and Jira?
Because because it's visualized in front of them, and also everyone, I think everyone have access. In Jira, everyone have access as well, but they also like having, they had like small envelopes with the name of each person, so they can put the task that they've done. And
okay,
if that
thank
answered the question.
Yes, it does. So, Andre, you mentioned something about variability as it sorts, that's one of the advantages. Variability at its source. What did you mean by that? If you go back to one of the advantages you mentioned.
At the, which one did you mean? Sorry.
When you were talking about one of the advantages.
Yeah, like
you
working.
variability at its source. That was one of the things you cited. So I was just wondering what exactly you meant by that.
At its source or source?
Source, yes.
Sorry, I'm lost.
No, it's fine. Don't
No,
worry.
just tell me where it was. I can't. Ah, you mean the control variability?
No, variability, yeah.
Yeah, of variability at its source.
Yes.
I try to explain. So it's basically, you know, different. It's about the variability of the source. So as I understood it from the text, it's about how different items you get and you go towards to a target. Because the problem is, like, if you have, for instance, a lot of similar items, you lose the variability, and then you have you still go along, but you saw some charts, and some were having like this progress, and some were with high variability. You have like this progress. It's much steeper because you cover different aspects. That's how I understood it.
Yeah, that's fine. So thank you very much, Group B. We'll take 5 minutes break and we'll come back by 3 p.m. We'll take Group C and D. Is that okay?
Yeah.
So thank you very much. Okay then, thanks. I'll stop recording.